Yeah.
Beat up on old ladies. That's not right. J-E-T-S, Jets.
And I just need I need for Tony Pollard, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, to score less than 20 fantasy points tonight. So if Tony could just, not have, he can have an okay game. I just don't want him to have a fantastic game.
Yeah.
So that's all I ask, Tony. Just, from me to you, just please keep those fantasy points down.
Well, my fantasy football was terrible this weekend. I went 0-5.
The Jets, David Floyd says the Jets didn't win, the Eagles lost. I'm pretty
David,
sure.
I really like you. I used to like you a lot.
I like David a lot. I'm pretty sure the W next to the game stats for this week's, the W stands for win.
I think he's an Eagles fan.
He might be an Eagles fan. I don't know.
And so, YouTube's up now, guys. So.
Oh, yeah, YouTube's up. Sorry that
perfect.
YouTube's been delayed a couple times in the last few months, but hopefully our stream provider can get that worked out. But I don't want to wait anymore. We have a fantastic special guest. So, guys, as you know, we have a great special guest coming onto the show. And as always, on How About That Cigar Live, our special guests are brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. And the Liga Privada Selección de Mercado is handcrafted to highlight the bold characteristics of a specially curated Connecticut Criollo Capa leaf that's grown exclusively for Drew Estate by one farmer in the famed Connecticut River Valley. The name is Spanish for market selection and inspired by the old practice of selecting wrapper leaves for certain national markets by color. Drew Estate chose only the most beautiful Rosado Connecticut Criollo leaves to grace the Selección de Mercado. The Rosada Capa surrounds a blend of tobaccos from Mexico, Nicaragua, and Pennsylvania to create a cigar that is deeply balanced, bold, and sophisticated. This cigar measures 6x52 and is available in 10-count boxes to international markets. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, if you would please put your hands together and welcome to episode 218 of How About That Cigar Live from Nickel City Cigars. Tommy Farrell, welcome to the show, my brother.
Hello.
How you doing tonight, brother?
Let's go Eagles. I mean Bills. I'm just fucking. Yeah. I mean, fuck the Jets, though. I mean, that's. What do you want from me? I'm a Bills fan. We don't have any love for them.
No, that's one of those rivalries that goes back a long time.
I used to cheer for the Bills a long time ago. Well, really not cheer for them, but they were a New York team, so
the only New York team.
Easy. It's like 12. It's like 12 fucking teams.
They're all in.
When they lost those 4 in a row, I used to cheer for them. Well, they lost the Giants too. So how you been, brother? Let me see you a little bit.
Good. Yeah, life is good. I'm right where you left me. That's a thing I always say. Meaning I don't go anywhere. I'm right here. I'm always going to be doing what I do. And so how are you? How are things?
We're doing good over here. That beard looks fucking phenomenal, brother.
Yeah, your beard game is just
tight.
I just got a spring cleaning and shortened it up a little bit like 2 weeks ago, and tomorrow it goes in for another little.
Can you tell our friend over here, Justin, what a trim is like?
I haven't even touched it yet. This is since January. I've grown this.
Yeah, he literally scissors or clippers have not touched that beard.
This is all natural.
See,
that's a good thing.
Yeah,
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
That's a well taken care of beard, and I just came out from the backside of the dumpster.
No, this is me and the wildlife, bro.
Yeah.
Come on out there.
So this is the secret bourbon that Raul has brought for me to have on the show tonight. I get 3 guesses to try to figure out what it is. While I'm pouring this bourbon of the evening, Tommy, if you would please let us know what you are smoking and drinking.
I am presently smoking the Tatuaje cigars. This is the Cojetes broadleaf. Little fun guy. If you know, you know, but as everyone should know, 2021, December 2021, so just about 2 years on the box code, and it is a fantastic blend that's just one of a kind. They had the Sumatra and the Habano as well, but this is by far my personal favorite, and I figured it's perfect for the fall time. It has a crisp, distinct kind of graham cracker and nutty kind of taste. It's really good in the fall. And in terms of what I'm drinking, well, I'm keeping it easy tonight, and I have my Romacraft Eco Vessel. If I can figure out this camera, there it is, and it is full of agua, which is Spanish for water.
Very nice. Got to stay hydrated.
I had a very long weekend, and I made it a mission to just bottle kill after bottle kill of all types of rare goodness, just stag, old, very OG Wellers and other such oddities. A lot of Starlight in Kings County, Brooklyn. A lot of different rare stuff,
Nice.
But I think like the lowest proof point was like 116, and that was like a clonic, or like a rare Clonakilty Irish joint.
So you're taking a recovery day.
Yeah, so it's been, and then we had the Sunday night football last night, and I went on an IPA tour of North America. So today's all water.
I love it. Well, I am going to get this wonderful cigar fired up on the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Toast Cam. Raul, if you would tell our viewers and listeners what this is that we are smoking here in the studio tonight.
This is a Trust Your Government. Over here, give me this camera, please.
Oh, you want that one?
Yeah, I want this.
Let's give him that one.
This one. Trust Your Government exclusive from Tommy Shop, Nickel City, and it is a collaboration with Matt Booth. Am I correct?
You are correct. That is the one.
And there's a few stories going around about that cigar. You want to give us the
down and dirty
ABC version or the public version?
I'll give you both. How about that? And I'll marry them together, and we'll leave it up to your fine listeners to decide what is fact and what is fiction, what is myth and what is legend. So as the story goes, that cigar was created in Matt's dreams, and he wanted to tell the world that you should trust your government. And he's always had this cool concept and some cool imagery, and he had these cigars already. But the myth says that those cigars were made by AJ Fernandez about 5 years ago, put into production, and then they were intended to be a middle finger to one of the legacy brands that I shall not name, and that middle finger was never delivered. Part of the batch was used as a charity, and then the others were made available, to which I bought them all, and we are basically sold out of them, less what I told you in the back room.
We have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what you said to nobody said anything to anybody in any back room.
For the general public, they're all gone. Let's just say they're all gone. They're none to be found.
Yeah, it's a really good cigar. That's an interesting cigar. It's a really it's a dark, oily Maduro. It's a Nicaraguan Puro. It really hits home. And the summer of 2022, that's the number one cigar I smoked. It's a box press Toro. The oils are noticeable on it. It's kind of heavy on the palate, but it's medium plus in strength. It's really clean tobacco. It's unbanded, and it's a bundled cigar, but it was made to be banded and put in a very high end box. Had that been done, that would have been a $17 cigar. So they rounded out around $8.25, and in some cases they were sold for like $9.75, and in New York, obviously, that's like $1,000. So
yeah. Well, I'm going to get this fired up right now, and I'm going to do it on the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Toast Cam. When lighting your cigar, it is important to be patient, pay close attention to detail, and focus on the tobacco. In those same ways, Steve Saka brings the same qualities to the ultra premium cigars of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Patience, close attention, and focus on the tobacco are the qualities that Saka and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust have become known for. From Sobra Mesa to Umbagog, Dunbarton has a blend that will fit your palate, your mood, and any occasion. Visit DunbartonCigars.com to learn more. Oh, yeah. There we go.
Smooth. That sounded like heaven. I don't know what Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust is, but I want it in my mouth hole. Meow. I'm just joking. I obviously sell a shit ton of Dunbarton. and it's good stuff. But that was well read. I appreciate that.
I was like, if you haven't heard of Dunbarton, then you need more recovery time from this weekend. Because I know you sell a shit ton of it.
We only sell boutique, man. That's it. Craft allocated.
One of the things that we love hearing about, especially from first-time guests like you, is your sort of cigar origin story. So what's the first premium cigar you ever lit up?
So, I picked up cigars when I was in the Navy, which was 04 to 2010, stationed overseas. But prior to that, graduation parties or somebody's dad, we were fishing or sitting around a campfire, and I couldn't fucking tell you what I was smoking, right? So that's just because I didn't care. I wasn't really invested in the hobby. And this is like pre-2004 that I'm referencing. And then it was about 2008. I was stationed over in Yokosuka, Japan, and I went into a cigar bar there, and it was a high-end Japanese whiskey, and it was a pairing menu, and it was all Cuban tobacco. And I had a Cuban Monte Cristo number 2 that was paired with a particular Suntory exclusive to this cigar bar that I was at. So I had that. So that's where it started. The Japanese gentleman, the sommelier behind the bar, was so well versed, and his English was so good, and it just really, I was in awe of it because it was my first real experience in that like Corona style, Corona Cigar Company like style, like atmosphere, right? And that's Corona cigars and like Twins up in Kurt's place up in New Hampshire. Those there's a handful of places that kind of like have the same kind of bar vibe as what I'm expressing. And so that was it. It was Cuban Monte Cristo number 2, and it sparked the hobby. And, the story keeps going from there. I just kind of got into Cigar Cartel when I got out in like 2013 timeframe there. And I started collecting, and then it just became, it was from smoking like 2-3 cigars a week to like 5 a day. And I just never turned back, man. And then I just had the itch, and I just kept going and going and going. And I was, just reading everything that I was smoking, and, picking up every magazine that I could, and staying in all the chats and forums and stuff. And then my background's in healthcare management, operations, like running skilled nursing and rehab facilities and such. And although that's a really lucrative career, I just didn't want to work for somebody else for the rest of my life. I wanted to do something for myself, and I couldn't understand why my city, Buffalo, New York, didn't have that type of like bar lounge setup, private club type of deal. And because the laws, that's why it doesn't exist here. But
yeah,
I found a way, and it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and I elected to chase my dream and give something to my city because I was sick of having to leave my city to experience the culture that I loved.
Well, I definitely want to say thank you for your service. Tell us which branch you served with.
I was in the U.S. Navy Ordnance, Airedale side, so aviation ordnance. So my job specifically was to build, maintain, arm the platforms, the aircraft for the U.S. Navy and all the ordnance systems applicable. I had 2 different duty stations, which had called for 2 different aircraft, and therefore I had to work on 2 different weapon systems and all the armament associated. The first was I had 2 years of shore duty right out the gate, which is like the Arizona Cardinals of the Navy. And I was the retirement community up there in Naval Air Station, Brunswick, Maine. And I worked on the weapon systems for the now retired P-3 Orion, which is anti-submarine warfare on the Northeast coast, northeast Atlantic coastal area up there. That base has now been closed down. We don't need something as antiquated as a physical base to patrol any longer. Cold War is over. But and there I loved Maine. Maine is like a second home to me because of that duty station. But it was boring, so I chose orders to Naval Air, or to the USS Kitty Hawk out of Yokosuka, Japan, and over in the 7th Fleet. And I went over there and did that and decommissioned her, cross-decked over to the George Washington, went back to Japan and all that jazz. And I did about 5.5 years and got out because my mother was sick.
Yeah.
So I completed my first duty tour and my contract, and then I got out.
So tell us about sort of the origins of Nickel City Cigars. You know, like you said, you were in healthcare management, you wanted to do something for yourself, and you looked around the marketplace in the Buffalo area. How did Nickel City Cigars come to be?
So, pretty easy. When you think about it, there's, you have your brick and mortar, and then you have your online, and everybody is relatively the same, but also very different. And you guys get it. And pretty much every single one of your listeners will identify with this as well. And that is, there are communities within communities. And some of them are based on where you are geographically, meaning your local shop. But then you also have the online community, and you might be friends with a bunch of people up in Seattle or down in San Antonio. So I knew that just because of the cigar cartel and the other type of groups that are out there. And I knew that I always had a little side thing, flipping cigars on the secondary market, and bourbons and things of that nature. So I just kind of wanted to take something that I already knew how to do, and with people that I was already doing it with, and kind of make it a little more viable and turn it into a day job, because I enjoy it, right? And I knew that if I put it in New York, meaning Nickel City Cigars, that it was going to be an uphill battle. I didn't know I was going to be racing against a clock, meaning I got the keys to the building October 1st of 2019. It needed an entire build out. It is in downtown Buffalo, New York, right in front of the Chop House, right across the street from Dinosaur Barbecue, right in the nightlife, little downtown club and bar scene area. So it's perfect location.
Yeah.
Got the keys October 1st, 2019, started doing a full build out. The e-commerce was already up and running during that build out. It's really hard to go through construction, cosmetic or otherwise, structural in New York, because there's a lot of red tape. And I didn't know I was up against the clock because a looming pandemic was coming. And I went full board, full tilt, liquidated, went all in to do this for myself. And then my grand opening was March 21st of 2020. The city shut down 5 days before my grand opening because of the pandemic. And then while we were locked down, because New York had some of the most harsh COVID restrictions in the country. And while we were locked down, our then perverted governor, Mr. Cuomo, elected to triple our cigar tax by changing the verbiage, taking us from 28.5% tax on wholesale to 75%. And that is where we remain to this very day. And it is not the tax itself. You might think that's a crazy number, right? It is the frequency to which we have to pay the tax. Anything, for example, that I import into the state of New York in October, let's say I bring in $10,000 my cost, right? I'm supposed to sell it in $20,000, right? Manufacturer gets 10, I get 10. If I give any discounts, that comes out of my 10. Well, the state says, no, you have under 30 days to pay us 75% of what you paid. So that means I gave the manufacturer 10 grand. I have to give the state 7,500. I get at best 2,500. So if I give you 1% off, that comes out of my 25%. If I give you 20% off, best I can do is 5%. And I'm supposed to pay everything, payroll, the whole nine, everything associated with that. But we make it work because we run lean. People understand that the little guys need love too. And by buying a single cigar from someone like us, it really does go a long way, because there are people that rely on us to support them. And we're always willing to go above and beyond and make a deal, because we not only want, but we need the business as well in order to grow. And as I say this to everyone, support your local, go to the people that have been taking care of you forever. However, help yourself as well. help other shops grow as well, because it is in your interest. Because the definition of capitalism is competition, right? If we compete for your business, it is to your benefit. You're going to get the best deal imaginable. But if there's only one guy in town, he can set the price however he wants. So.
Yeah. Well, and you started, in addition to the brick and mortar, you went into, availability for customers outside of your area to order online right away. And which really smart in any time frame, in my opinion, whether, COVID was a thing or the way that affected everybody's brick and mortar business. So, and part of that is that you and you talked about this already, you dedicated yourself to being really boutique heavy, boutique focused, small brands, medium-sized brands with good people behind them, brands like Roma Craft, brands like Dunbarton, brands like Crown Heads, Tatuaje, and
Postanli.
And Postania, and that's one of those things that I think that, like, I ordered stuff from your shop a couple years ago because that was the only place, because no place around me carried it.
Yeah.
And I knew that I wanted this cigar, so I ordered a 5-pack from you a few years ago. And there have been other shops like that around the country. So what made you decide to focus on boutiques versus legacy brands? And what kind of response are you getting? Because you've also put in the time and effort to get yourself a presence and a following on social media. And I think that's a big key that a lot of shop owners miss. So what was the spark that made you want to focus on social media and boutique brands, letting people know, customers, that, look, I'm going to have some stuff in my shop that you're only going to be able to get at maybe 10 shops in the country, and I'm one of them.
That was my goal.
That road.
Yeah, that you pretty much hit the nail on the head, man. So I had to ask myself a couple of questions. If I'm going to do this, let's write down some reasons why I'm going to do this. I already mentioned one, which is I wanted to bring the experience into the city of Buffalo. Now, there are shops in Western New York, in the suburbs, and, way out in the countryside, like the Indian reservations. And they do a great job, and I supported them for, my entire time. But I didn't want to have to drive 30 minutes from my house out of the city to go to these places, right? I wanted something downtown because the laws are designed in New York to remove smoking from inside. You can't do it. And you're not allowed to have a drink and a cigar in the same place at the same time. There are no such thing as cigar bars in New York. Well, our building is different because I had the opportunity to split the building in half because I was building it out. And I built the front side, and I took on a couple board members, and I filed that as a nonprofit city social club that has no paid employees. Nobody actually owns Nickel City Club. That is owned by the members and run by the members. It is self-sustaining, has no paid employees. It runs itself. It is just an adult rec room where you have to be 21 and up. And if you're not a member, there's a $5 membership for 24 hours. It's super cheap. It is just that. Nobody has to make any money off of it because they can't make any money off of it. The backside of it is Nickel City Cigars, the walk-in humidor, in my office where we run the .com out of the distribution.
Yeah.
So I knew that was number one. Priority two was if I were a consumer and I were out there, be it in Buffalo or otherwise, why would I want to shop at Nickel City Cigars? Knowing they're a little guy, knowing they're new. Nobody needs somebody else to come to market selling, Rocky Patel, Monte Cristo, CAO. Like, there's enough of that. Like, I would have just been standing in line in a very crowded room. So I wanted to focus on the people that stand in front of a camera. And your last guest last Monday, was none other than who?
Yeah, Pete Johnson. Yeah.
And now so Pete Johnson is Tetua. If there are 4 walls in my humidor, And then there's a center island, a little doodad, so you can walk around and see what's on the island, right? But only one brand has its own wall, and it is, Tatuaje Atelier and Surrogates. I jokingly say this to Pete all the time, and everybody knows Pete, but he's the nicest, most humble guy in the world, and he laughs like, yeah, right, whatever. But I honestly, truly mean this when I say Nickel City Cigars would not be here today if it weren't for two things. One, Tatuaje Cigars, and the other being my brothers and sisters of the Leaf that want to see Nickel City Cigars survive. Because without Tatuaje and the following and the friends and the cigar community, we honestly wouldn't be here. It doesn't matter what work I put in. It takes a lot. And Tatuaje cigars are just really, once you go tat, you never go back. That's what they say. So that was it, man. I wanted to work with people that wanted to work with me, that are forward facing, that are out there. Pete is always doing active stuff. Mike Rosales, Skip Martin, John Huber, Matt Booth, the list goes on and on. Steve Saka, Ram Rodriguez from Artista Cigars.
Oh, yeah.
He's got such a cool crew. They're awesome people. Mike down at Hustler, Hustler Mike, Postania, they do a really good job. Fable Cigars, Guamaro. We just carry some cool stuff, man. Like we sell what we smoke, and we stand behind it. We do okay, and here's the feedback part of your question. People ask me all the time for more stuff, right?
Yeah.
Foundation, they'll ask me for Viaje. They'll ask me for, Dapper, or they'll ask me for Crux, or they'll ask me Stolen Thrones, the Patina. The list goes on and on, man. They'll just ask me to keep bringing it in. And I say, I only have so much space, one. And two, we're small. Like I haven't earned the right to grow to that point. I always say it will come in time, but we just had our 4-year anniversary. So, I've added a few brands since that time. I've let a few brands go for one reason or another. And Oliver Naveau at United Cigar Group. I'm sure you guys know United and Oliver.
Oh, yeah.
Oliver's been instrumental in some of the growth and success. Atabey and Byron, sadly, I had to let go of inside the humidor because in New York they were just really, really expensive, and there's not a lot of big box buyers of Atabey and Byron. So it was kind of like I was investing the company's money into really expensive products, and everybody just kept buying this.
Yeah.
So I put my money in what works, and in time, when we pay off business liabilities, and ideally one day if we get any form of tax relief from the New York State tobacco tax, then I'll continue to bring things in. But I'm always listening to other individuals. And what I do say is, if I don't have it, I'll source it for you, or I'll provide you a recommendation, and I'll even try to, get there before you and make sure I can get you some form of a deal because I had to send you somewhere else. So that's what we do. That's how I work. That's it.
Well, one of the things, because part of this Hidden Gem series, is finding places where you can not only get cigars that are maybe a little tougher to find, but you can find, good atmosphere, good people, things like that. And we know that you have that at Nickel City Cigars, but also we know that any cigar shop, you'll have cigars that you'll bring in, and it could be, a cigar from a brand that you already carry. Maybe it's a new brand that you're bringing in for the first time. And there'll be something that you're expecting, most likely you think to yourself, oh man, this is going to be hot. These are going to move right away. They're going to sell like crazy. And then for whatever reason, they don't. Or that it could be the opposite, where you bring in maybe somebody taking a chance, like, okay, I'm going to bring these in. I don't really think they're going to do well, but and they blow up. And then they just blow up. They sell out right away. What's an example on both sides of that you can think of where things didn't go quite as expected?
That's a tough question because now I gotta say people's names. It's okay. I'll answer that question.
They'll understand.
So,
it's okay.
So here's a company that I'm really rooting for, and I put them off and I put them off and I put them off, for a variety of different reasons, timing, cash on hand, capital to invest in a new brand, name recognition. But they are honestly really good people. They are working really hard. You can look at their history, even if you just go to the beginning of their IG, their Instagram, and follow their business to now, you can see the growth. And for whatever reason, it didn't really work in my humidor. I received some complaints about the tobaccos. I received some complaints about the pricing and the this and the that and the packaging. All of things that are, really kind of outside of my control. So that company is Founders Cigars.
Okay.
And I think they might have an HQ in your neck of the woods up there.
They do,
if I'm
yeah.
not mistaken. Yeah, and it just didn't work in my Yeah, and so now you understand why I really want to see them shine. So I still have their cigars in my humidor. We haven't re-upped on them yet. I see they're going through a bit of a rebranding right now. They stay in touch. They reach out. They care about every shop, and they are people that I actively want to work with. But for whatever reason, the initial launch of those cigars, they didn't work for a variety of different reasons. But I'm not going to give up on them. I think with time, the product line will do extremely well, and I see them having success already.
Angelo's a hell of a guy, and their Candela is magnificent.
Yeah, and they, I agree with you, and they're great guys, and they're definitely learning as they go. But the good thing is they're really responsive to feedback from consumers and from retailers.
Yeah.
And they're making some changes with factories right now. They're changing the look of their cigars, the packaging.
Now at the Cuevas factory, I believe.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
I believe that's right.
Yeah, even better than they were before.
Yeah. So I think they're learning how important the right factory partnerships can be. And but we're in the same boat as you. We want to see them succeed.
Yep.
Because they're really good people.
Yeah. And to answer the other part of your question, and I love those guys. I can't say enough. You guys hit the nail on the head. They are going to succeed.
Yeah.
You can see it. It is evident. They are not failing. They are succeeding. They will continue to succeed. It was my humidor, and my following isn't strong enough to support, that in my humidor. Not now, but it will later, I hope. So that's why they still have the product is still on my shelf. It is still for sale. It's still there. It's got some age on it now. It's got a year of age on it at this point, but that's that. So the other side was I got to go back to the beginning when I brought on, something like 8 to 12 brands to start. I didn't know what was going to work and what wasn't going to work, but I was going to promote everything the same. I was going to price everything fairly. As the MSRP dictates, I was going to advertise, and I was going to discount or, treat everything with the same type of palette and demeanor from a rep or a retailer, from a retailer position, meaning I wouldn't pick a favorite, right? And I would let the chips fall where they would. Well, and when I had the original investment into my original inventory, it was equal across the board for everyone. And I didn't know that Tatuaje Atelier Surrogates was going to be what it is in my shop.
Yeah.
So we are from a ranking perspective, we're on what Pete Johnson calls sheet 1, right? And you can imagine he has like 30 pages, right? And we're a shop that's in New York, and we are on sheet 1. But to break that down to a geographical, territory, we are in the Northeast. Being in Western New York, we are in the Northeast, and for a single store owner, meaning when I put an order in under my account number, I have only one store that I order for. So I don't order for 3 stores or 2 stores. I only order for 1 store because I only have 1 store. So in the Northeast, we are the largest Tatuaje account.
Nice.
Which is feather in my cap. I never expected that, man. So that's where the majority of my money goes, to Tatuaje Atelier Surrogates. I give money to, a lot of money to Roma, a lot of money to Dunbarton, a lot of money to Crown Heads and others, but Tatuaje at this point in the game gets the majority of my money because it makes the company the most money, meaning it's the only brand that does not need me. Lat Surrogate does not need me in any way, shape, or form. It sells itself. All I have to do is put it on there and turn on the light, and it sells. I've tried to replicate that success, and then I realized you're just a fucking idiot, Tommy. It's not you, it's the product. Just sit back and let it go. That's what I do. So
nice. Raul, you had a question.
Yeah. So Tommy, on your website, you've had a couple other items on there, and they seem to be sold out. Your hot sauce and your coffee.
Yep.
So
when
are we going to re-up here?
Yeah.
So you'll notice, like, we're real small, and what I mean is when people ask me how I'm able to survive in this tax structure, given the fact that I started the company at the origin of the pandemic in one of the worst states to be in during said pandemic, and then the taxes getting tripled on us, as I mentioned, during our lockdowns, to raise us from 28.5% to 75%, and for me to survive, I didn't have an opportunity to establish, a full functioning humidor with all the bells and whistles and all the accessories and everything that you see in all these shops. When you go into a lot of these shops, they've been open for 10, 15, 20, 30, sometimes 50 years, and they were operating during the boom, some of them in the 80s, 90s, and they didn't have to deal with crazy erroneous taxes and laws and the heyday, right? And so we operate in a very lean capacity because of that frequency to which we have to pay the taxes. I have to operate in a very lean capacity. That means I have to make really hard decisions. And that means, and it won't always be that way, but every decision I make right now is calculated because I have to sweat every dollar and cent for the company's sake. And that means if I will give something its due, its time, I will give it all the due diligence I must, and I will explore and create new things. Originally, the coffee and the hot sauce was brought in, and our Cigar of the Month box was a true box, and you would get 5 cigars at a discounted price. They would be all craft boutique, and they would be in a limited edition cigar in there, no filler, no blowout, no Pravada stuff. And you would get a sample bag enough to make 2 French press worth of Typico coffee, which is a master roaster here, and he's the Steve Saka of coffee in New York State. Nice. And he used to work for a company where he traveled the globe, like he was the Skip Martin and EP Carrillo of, like, coffee, and he's here in Buffalo, and I would put his coffee in there, and you'd get a write-up on the coffee. And then I would do different small batch hot sauces as well. You get a bottle of hot sauce, and I got so many complaints, like, I don't want the hot sauce, I don't want the coffee, I don't want to pay for this, I don't want to pay for that. So then I broke it out to, you can have it your way, right?
Yeah.
If you want cigars, just cigars. You want cigars and coffee, cool. Cigars and hot sauce, cool. And I would I'm a geek, so I would even put a free vintage comic in there, fresh, brand new, right?
Nice.
So, and like stickers and tchotchke, and like, so you're getting really good cigars, hot sauce, coffee, comic book, which is just cool. Even if you don't have a kid, you can just be like, look, I got this Deadpool comic, and I fucking love it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like a kid again. And just the numbers kept going down and down and down on the coffee and the hot sauce. And I do still have coffee and hot sauce, but it's not on the website anymore. It's just in the store because because it was just creating more work for me. So one of the reasons, aside from the numbers were going down, was also the labor associated. I also have to control labor. I have to look at the man hours across the board. I am not Corona Cigars. I love them. They're the former Davidoff location in Tampa was one of the nicest places I've ever been to smoke a cigar. I love that place.
Yeah.
Jeff does an amazing job. He is truly someone to look up to if you're interested in this industry at all. Try to emulate some of the stuff that he does because he's him and Kurt Kendall. There's a lot of different people that do really, really well that, have a lot of experience that they're willing to share. But I just had to run lean. I just had to curb things because I don't have the staff. I am the CFO. I am the picker, the packer, the shipper.
Janitor, all of it, huh?
Yeah. I'm the marketing team. I am the purchaser. I'm the accountant, HR department, everything in and of I'm all of it. So I got to go where the money's at right now so I can keep the company going. And that means I got to say no to some things, and I have to say no to new brands, and I have to just focus on the things that are helping the company stay alive and afloat.
Do you still have the cigar of the month going on?
Yep. Every month. It opens on the 9th. It is not recurring billing. We don't hit your card. We don't even store your credit card information. You got to log in and get it. We make a limited amount of them every month. It opens on the 9th. It ships on the 23rd. It is only cigars. It is $39.95. The average cost of the pack is about anywhere from $68 to $80, and we basically give it away. And you get that includes the cost of cigar number 6 because you get a free cigar in the pack every month. So it's $39.95 plus shipping, which is like $7 or something. So it's like $46, and you get 6 cigars. We always put like an LE in there, like the last month's pack had like the Quinquagenario in it, and the Tatuaje 10th anniversary Tuxla was in there, and some other stuff. But we put stuff in there that you might not have never had a 5-year-old, Fable Friday, right? That's super oily and yellow. We just put weird stuff in there, stuff that's cool, stuff that you want to smoke that you didn't know, and then you might turn your nose up at it because it's not a Fuente or an Opus or Rocky Patel something or other, but you didn't know, and now you know, and you didn't know you liked a Tatuaje 7th Reserva Capa Especial, but now it's your favorite fucking cigar.
Yeah.
We did that for you at cost.
That's pretty awesome. All right.
That sounds like a great deal, brother.
I got to ask you about this. Being from the Buffalo area, I mean, everybody in the whole world knows about buffalo wings. And I'm actually not going to ask you about buffalo wings. Okay. What I'm curious about is because, certain regions get known for one kind of food, and people forget that there's a lot of other kinds of food, around the area. So what are some like 1 or 2 just awesome foods that Buffalo maybe isn't known for, but there's just crazy good places to get that kind of food instead of buffalo wings?
Yeah. So people don't actually realize this, and you could type this in like top food destinations in the US or whatever. Buffalo, New York is like always consistently in like the top 10 in the US, like food destinations. We have amazing food here. It's literally a culinary melting pot for what it's worth. But Buffalo is really kind of known for a lot of different things, but 2 things specifically. Obviously, the chicken wings, which you already talked about. And so we won't go there. But the other thing that we are known for is a sandwich called the beef on weck, right? It's like prime rib, shaved real thin. It's on a Chemeweck seeded roll. And then you get a little dipping sauce with au jus, and you put a little horseradish sauce on there. It is out of this world, fucking insane good. And I'm telling you, like, it is so good. And so I'm going to tie this in, and I say this all the time. Buffalo's known for 2 things. We have 2 lists: chicken wings. We rank the places to go get your wings, and beef on weck, right? And there is one place that doesn't matter whose list you're looking at. They are on the beef on weck and the chicken wings, everybody's top 3, and that place is called Bar Bill Tavern. They have 2 locations, East Aurora, and then the Williamsville Clarence location, which is called Bar Bill North. They have, in my opinion, they're number 1 for me for beef on weck and chicken wings. So I go there, I get a small beef on weck and 10 wings, and I kill 2 birds, 1 stone. And every time I have out of towners, that's where I send them, or that's where I take them.
Nice. That sounds awesome.
So, quick question for you: what do you think this is so far?
All right.
So, Tommy, we started last week. I have a little bourbon collection at home, and I bring a little sample for him, just so he can try to figure it out.
All right. So it's got a ton of sweetness on the nose and the palate. It's kind of higher proof. So this, as far as I can tell, it's a little hot, but it's not like painful.
Okay.
But there's a ton of sweetness. It really does kind of seem like it might be weeded. So we might be looking at, Buffalo Trace or Weller or Maker's Mark, or I don't know.
That's your 3 guesses right there.
It seems like it might be weeded. There's a ton. Oh, you told me it was a bourbon earlier.
Bourbon rye, right?
No, bourbon and rye are different things.
I don't fucking drink. I don't know.
It's a rye.
It's a rye. My fault.
Well, it's just really,
drink, Tommy.
it's really,
bourbon for my friend.
It's really sweet for a rye.
Is it?
Yeah, it's, but it tastes like it's high proof.
Well, it is finished in a rum.
That's where the sweetness is coming from.
And a brandy.
Rum and brandy. Rye finished.
Apricot brandy.
I have no idea.
All right, so we're just gonna
crazy. Is it Founders?
Oh, it's Seagrass.
Ah.
Okay, and it's 118 proof. Rye whiskey finished in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels.
Yeah,
it's good.
First time you had it?
Yeah. I've had a lot of the barrel stuff, but not the Seagrass.
I heard it was
pretty good.
Yeah, thank you.
I said that was pretty good, so
it is good.
Bring it in.
It is good.
What do you score it?
Oh, geez. I mean, now that I know it's a rye.
You're sitting there the whole time trying to figure out bourbon.
Well, that's an interested. I always score finished products a little bit different than I do just like straight out the barrel. So I'm curious to know what you think.
Well, and I tend to really love anything that's finished in a rum cask, whether it's Scotch or bourbon. If it's finished in a rum cask, I just love that sweetness that it gives, and that's why the sweetness on this is so pronounced. Honestly, I'll give this a 92.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a legit bottle. I really enjoy it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's good stuff.
Did you any of you happen to get over the summer we did the product MGP sourced 6-year rye barrel aged P3s, the barrel aged P3s that we did?
I did not. These guys don't drink. I do, but
yeah, we did a custom 5-packs with the labels to match in the silver P3 butcher paper. We did the P3 Habano, the Miami P3 from Tatuaje. Nice. We aged 1,200 of those in a Hartman's Distilling MGP sourced barrel proof rye. It was like 126 proof, something like that. But they were pungent. Project was really risky and scared the shit out of me putting that many cigars in a whiskey barrel, because cigars, moisture, obviously we had to get the moisture content inside the barrel just right. And it was one of the coolest projects I've ever had the privilege to work on.
That's
we
awesome.
Partnered with both Tatuaje and Hartman's Distilling on that. And then we numbered the 5-packs to match the number of the bottles that came out of the barrel, which was 121.
So the next question is, do you have any of that left?
They're the only ones I have is I have 2 5-packs of my own.
Yeah.
and I think the person who got the most was Pete Johnson, because
Sounds right. That sounds right.
You got to keep the boss happy, But no, they're long. They'll sold out super fast.
Yeah.
You plan?
I'll tell you what, though, if you come through Buffalo, I will happily put one in your hand.
Nice.
Yeah.
You plan on doing that again?
Yeah, we're gonna do it again. We'll always use. It's kind of. It's. We've already kind of selected the cigar that's going next, which is the Tatuaje Reserva broadleaf, the Noelas cigar. If you're familiar with it, it's kind of like a petite. It's almost like a petite Lancero, petite Lonsdale kind of doodad. It doesn't really hit it's like a short Corona almost, but not. I don't really know what to call it. There's a fancy term. There's a fancy name for that, but that's the one. But I can't tell you. The barrel is. I have to get the right barrel, and I know a barrel from what distillery I want. So basically, I need to go to Indiana, like fast. Yeah. So we're gonna work on that over the winter. That's actually on the calendar for November for me to take that little trip and try to procure that barrel and get it back to Buffalo, and we'll start the project for them to be available right around Christmas time.
That's awesome. Well, I want to jump into the next segment, and because I want Tommy to be on for all the segments, and I know he's got got stuff going on, so. Let's definitely, and I think that means
it's time.
It's definitely time.
What time is it?
It is time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos is brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn.
I'm Steve here with the GOAT to tell you about Smoke Inn's Cigar of the Month Club. Every month, I personally handpick 5 premium cigars. Another great feature is our Double Down Club. With a simple check mark, you can get double this great selections every month and save $10. Every month there's a special discount code where if you like any of the selections, you can get them at a special discounted rate for our Cigar of the Month Club members. We've made it super simple. All you gotta do is log into your account. There's a little green button there. If it's green, you're active. You want to take a break, going out of town, simply hit the button and you'll deactivate your membership. We get the stuff out on the 28th of every month. Our membership bills on the 28th, and we get every member's package out on the 28th if it's a shipping day. All delivered to your door for $34.95. 5 great reasons on what makes Smoke Inn Cigar of the Month Club the best club out there. Check it out. Peace.
Check it out.
All right, Numero de los Muertos, episode 218.
What you got?
Once again, the number is 1.
Oh my goodness.
Tommy, if you're not familiar with Numero de los Muertos, this is going to be a strange cause of death. And I've been doing a lot of number 1s lately because they're just, these causes are extra strange. And we play 20 questions, or you and our viewers who can comment live on Facebook and YouTube, and Raul and Justin get to play 20 questions to figure out what this cause of death for this one person was.
Got it.
Tommy, this is fantastic.
This
you like that, huh?
This Room 101, what's it called? Government, trust the government.
Trust the government.
Yeah, it's a good cigar.
I split a bundle with somebody, and I probably have another bundle in my pack by the end of the night.
All right, so I'm looking for a year on this particular, and there's no year listed here.
So let's start out right away. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Last week you got us.
Good question. I got him with fiction last week. It was
okay. So give us some details here. What we got?
Land, air, sea.
One.
What?
One death. One person.
Land, air, sea.
Okay.
Land.
Okay.
Is it a workplace accident?
No.
Is it a hunting accident?
No.
Because that's right around the corner.
Are animals involved?
An animal was involved, but it's not.
Okay.
It's not directly related to the cause of death.
No, that I was gonna say. So, did you say land, air, sea? Did you say
land?
Land. Got it. So I being new to this, I can't ask you. Was there another person involved? Because that would indicate murder, right? So that wouldn't work.
It's not murder.
Got it.
That would be something to ask, though.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like a common thing or like a one-off thing or like what?
Well, only one.
Oh, only
can't be
one ever.
It has to have happened more than once, but this is the one recorded.
The one recorded.
That there's a story about here.
Was it immediately known?
Yes.
Oh.
Was this in the U.S.?
It was in the U.S.
Okay.
Did the Amish carriage run over somebody?
No Amish carriage. No carriages. No vehicles were involved.
Parachute fall from Polly.
No parachutes.
Okay.
Did it involve a golf course?
No golf courses. I will say this. It happened on land, but water is involved.
Oh.
So see, I was going for crocodile and like the golf course, alligator type of deal.
Yeah. I see.
So somebody was on their jet ski and they flew out of the water, struck somebody else in the head and killed them.
No vehicles are not involved.
Not a falling piano?
No pianos.
Drowning?
No, it wasn't drowning.
Okay.
But water was involved.
Was there like a flood?
No flooding.
Water was involved.
Bathtub. Drowning in the bathtub.
Nope. Nope. This was outdoors.
Outdoors.
Okay.
Outdoors. Water involved.
Water.
The animal was or
there was an animal present.
Fireman hose.
But not directly involved. A dog was present.
The dog found the owner, the water.
Fireman hose cannon.
Swimming pool drowning accident.
Not a swimming pool.
Not the rain.
No.
Hot tub drowning accident.
Not hot tub.
A pool.
Jacuzzi.
A pool.
Not jacuzzi.
Pool.
Wasn't one of those ice baths?
Ice bath.
Not an ice bath.
Oh man.
Jacuzzi. He gave us a little smile with
the other. Not an ice bath, but
hot spring.
Hot spring.
And when hot springs shoot up in the air, what do you call that?
A geyser.
Colonoscopy.
Yes, a geyser. A colonoscopy. A geyser. All right,
hiking gets struck by a geyser.
These people were at Yellowstone National Park, and they parked and they brought their dog. They got their dog on a leash going through Yellowstone. They get to one of the guys, because if you've been to Yellowstone, it's like geyser after geyser after geyser.
Yep.
And they get to one of them, and the dog, the leash gets out of their hand, and the dog runs up, and sadly, the dog gets in the way of the geyser, and the dog dies sadly, because the water was 202 degrees Fahrenheit.
Sizzled.
And then one of the guys who lost control of the leash went to go to save the dog and also got caught up in the spray of the geyser and done.
Bill Commerce. The geyser.
Yeah, geyser. And I don't think they fell in. I think the spray coming up from the earth from the geyser is what did it.
He did get a colonoscopy from the geyser.
Too soon.
Too soon.
I wish there was a year on here that it said, but it was it was it says park rangers and subsequent EMS were unable to.
Yeah, he was toast.
Yeah. Well.
Huh. Yeah.
No pun intended. Oh,
caustic water.
It was wet. He was wet toast. All right.
Bill Commerce said it was last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. Well, there you go. So that was this week's
Numero de los Muertos.
How long are you going to talk?
Hey, Tommy, we got Bill on here. He's a big supporter of you. That's actually.
Oh,
yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's where I got my hat from that I'm wearing.
That's where I first heard about you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill's a good brother, man. Like I told you, we've got a lot of good guys and gals out there that aren't even from Buffalo that try to see us do well and share the word and all that stuff. I look at all the sponsors and how well you do the reads for them all and all of that stuff. And I have nothing but love and respect for those shops. And I hope they know I'm working my ass off to try and emulate some of their success and earn my place at the table. So don't be shy. Use nickelcitycigars.com and we will reciprocate that love. And we'll always be there when we can be.
Yeah. All right. So lightning round. Quick questions. Lightning round brought to us by our friends at J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 112-year-old El Reloj cigar factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right. Tommy, if you could hear the thoughts of one living person for 10 minutes, who would it be and why?
Oh God, that's a hard question. Any living human for 10 minutes. I want to get inside all their thoughts. I'm getting inside the old number 45, Donald Trump. I'm getting in there.
Okay.
I want to know it all. I want to know what's happening.
Yeah, that's a popular answer. We've had that answer a lot on the show.
Yeah.
People want to know what's happening up there. All right. If you were about to get into a fight, what would your soundtrack music be?
Shit. Enter the Sandman. Let's go.
Oh, yes.
Night.
Yes. That's a
little Mariano Rivera. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's get in there.
Love it.
All
right.
The last one. Okay. The zombies are coming. So zombie apocalypse. You get to choose 3 people from the cigar industry to be part of your zombie apocalypse squad. Who do you pick and why?
They got it. They're all gonna be fat because I want to be faster than them. So.
Sacrificial lamb.
See what I did there? No. I think I'm going Oliver Naveau. I'm going from United Cigar Group. I'm going Pete Johnson, Tatuaje. And then I'm taking
somebody with guns.
I'm going I'm gonna go with Miguel from Crown Heads.
Oh yeah.
Miguel knows his way around every fucking neighborhood in this country.
Yes.
He's a wealth of knowledge. I'm going with him. Oliver because he could cook everything and he can shoot, and Pete because guaranteed he's still gonna make good cigars even in the zombie apocalypse. So that's the route I'm going.
I love it. All right. Let's do this week's Notable Smokables, brought to us by Luciano Cigars. Notable cigars, notable passion, notable purpose. So, Tommy, each week during this segment, each of us name a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. Now, this could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that maybe we revisited for the first time in a long time, or a cigar that's brand new to the market that we tried for the first time ever. What's something you smoked recently that really stood out?
I have in my shop right now. It's distributed by Postania Cigars, Cigar Hustler Mike. It is called the FQ Proper, and I have
Matthew Hunt.
Yes, Matthew Hunt,
yeah.
Sexy Matthew Hunt. Can't take it. You're like, dude, we're going to the gym. Why are you wearing a fucking suit? And why do you have pasta sauce with you?
Right.
Like what? So, but no, yeah, Sexy Matt Hunt. Love him. But FQ Proper, that it's the funkiest fucking form of broadleaf construction I've ever seen in my life, and that cigar slaps. It is just pure gold. I think we have some Coronas left, maybe some Toro, but all the ones I have in the on the website and in the store, FQ Proper, they're all like 3+ years old, so they're just hitting. And I happen to see an open bundle of the Corona, like hanging out on the bottom shelf in like that section of the humidor, and I was like, yoink. So don't be surprised if you order 5 and I have to send you a little love note with like an extra 6 cigars because one was gone. That's why, because the inventory is probably not right because of me. That happens. But no, that's a notable cigar, man. Like I don't have that cigar every week or every month. I'd be lying to you if I said I smoked it every month. I don't. But every time I do smoke it, I remember why I carry it and why it's so great, and it deserves a place in your humidor, I assure you.
Very nice. Justin, what's notable for you this week?
Yesterday I have a couple. I've had it for a couple of years, but I had 2 of them and I had one left. It's not even that expensive, but the Villiger La Flor de Inclán. It's a Connecticut wrapper, but it's a good medium, light wrapper.
Is that
cigar.
I tried that cigar. I've only had that cigar in the Lancero, and I loved it in the Lancero.
Yeah, this is the what is this? The Churchill.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to try the Lancero, but I haven't found that one yet. So but yeah, it's really good. Good morning cigar.
Nice.
Lasted all day because I was letting it go out, doing many other things around the yard. But yeah.
No, not you.
No, what?
Not me. I don't have anything going on right now.
What about you?
I smoked this weekend. I got 4 through 13, is it? Of the Room 101 anniversary. And the one that stood out of all 4 of them was the 10th.
The 10th.
10th anniversary. It's still phenomenal.
Even over the 14th.
Even over the 14th.
That 14th.
And I really love that
14th was ridiculous. Yeah.
So what about you, brother?
So my notable this week, I just went back to and found one in my humidor that I thought I was out, but I was like, oh, there's a Sober Masis Brulee Blue.
Oh.
So that was
I've been sitting there for a second.
I brought that up fishing with me over the weekend and had that by a campfire with coffee on a brisk morning this past weekend. It was a beautiful thing. A little fog rolling over the lake. It was it's a beautiful thing, man.
That cigar has become my draft day, NFL draft day number 1. It's become tradition, and my other half, Kara, it is her favorite cigar. She smokes cigars every week, but that is her favorite cigar, and so I always keep some on hand for her.
Nice.
And it is such a good cigar. Beautiful. So well done. Sweet tip or not, fuck it. Who cares? Let's just get it. Live a little bit.
It's good.
Look at the fog roll in, boys. Little pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
So that was this week's Notable Smokable, brought to us by Luciano Cigars. Improving lives through fine cigars. Please visit lucianocigars.com to learn more. All right, and closing things out, we have some great coming attractions to let you guys know about, and those are brought to us by AJ Fernandez. Born and raised in Cuba, AJ Fernandez now produces unparalleled premium cigars in Esteli, Nicaragua. The AJ Fernandez portfolio of cigars provides blend strength and flavor profiles to match the preferences of any premium cigar consumer, whether it's New World, Dias de Gloria, San Latano, Enclave, or Bellas Artes. You are sure to be satisfied with a premium cigar from AJ Fernandez. All right, coming up next week on the show, we have Hector and the crew from Espinosa Premium Cigars to talk about La Zona Palooza 2023. And then closing out the month of October on the 30th, we have none other than Steve Saka from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust.
And Tommy, guess who next month Hidden Gem is? Take a guess. A bearded warrior just like yourself.
Oh, is it Brett J. Fry?
You're damn right.
Wow. Fucking love him.
Yeah, he's awesome, ain't he?
Tobaccology, yeah, that's it. That's what a great guy. You tell him, give him a little this for me, will you? Give him a little that for me. And tell him he's in the Nickel City Cigars Fantasy Baseball League. He's definitely not watching this, so he won't know. Okay, because he's got kids. He's probably in bed, but that big teddy bear. You let him know. Ask him how bad did I kick his ass in fantasy baseball this year.
Better write that down.
I was. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So I smoked them all, and I'll screenshot this. Dude, I had them buried by like 50 games the whole season. Then I lost Wander Franco, Shohei Ohtani, the batter and the pitcher. Right? And then I lost Bautista. My top. I lost in the final weeks of the season. Right as playoffs were beginning, I lost my 5 best players, and I finished in second. I lost to my best friend in the world since second grade, and I lost by two points. And that's that. So always a bride, or the what do they say? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Oh yeah.
Here I am.
I was
Brett J. Fry, cool.
I was telling Matt how when Brett gives you a hug, you feel like a little kid.
Yep, you do.
Big bear.
Yep, you do. That beard just makes love to you and makes you feel invited, warm, and it smells of
in a consensual way.
Yeah, it smells like tobacco, manbacco, a little bit of Old Spice, and Happy Meal toys, which is weird. I don't know why, from the 80s, but you feel loved and you just go with it, you know?
I love it.
I didn't know I was going to like this, but I do.
So, Tommy, to close things out, let our viewers and listeners know where's the best place for them to keep up with everything you have going on at Nickel City Cigars.
Yeah, there's really kind of the two best means. Obviously, Instagram, of course, at Nickel City Cigars. And then you can head over to Facebook. You can find Nickel City Cigars. Two things are going to pop up. One is just going to be the general, the mirrored version of Instagram just for Facebook. But then there's a private member club that you have to answer a little. Are you 21? Will you follow the rules? There's a Facebook club for Nickel City Cigars. Those two groups are the Instagram and the Facebook. That's the easiest way to stay in touch and follow along with what's going on. Hell, or you can just grab my number off of Google or grab it off of, the old interwebs, wherever you see it, or you can head on down or go over to nickelcitycigars.com. There's always a fun way. All of those channels, if you reach out to any one of those platforms, all of those forms of communication come right to me, because I told you I have 100 jobs, and one of them is I am the complaint department, I am the customer service department, and all of the above. So you will get me, and I will get back to you within 24 hours.
I love it. Well, Tommy, thank you, brother, so much for being on the show, man. We had a blast.
Yeah. Thanks, brother. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you, guys. How about that cigar?
All right, viewers and listeners, guys, thanks so much for being with us tonight on episode 218. Take just a minute, subscribe to us on all those great channels, YouTube, Facebook, and all that stuff. Hit the buttons and the bells and all that great stuff, because we don't want you guys to miss anything. If you have questions, you can email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Follow us on all social media at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
See you guys.
Take it easy, guys.
Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.